Hello everyone and welcome to my yet another video on a different topic. The topic that I'm going to talk about today is morale. But before that, let me recapitulate as to what I did in the last video, or what were the deliberations in my last lecture. In my last lecture, I spoke something related with the job enlargement and job enrichment. I'm sure by this time you are well aware about the concept of job enrichment and enlargement. Now, when we have this job enlargement and job enrichment also, some of them they may be quite motivating, some of them they may be quite demotivating also. Though people they have a perfect knowledge about what is the meaning of morale and motivation, but generally people have no idea what it is all about. So, I thought of having a different lecture on this topic and to make you aware about the other peripheral activities which are associated or the concepts which are associated with the morale and motivation. My dear friends, before I proceed, let me give you a very important tip rather. Do you all know what is the difference between morale and motivation? I think if I ask 100 people, more of them people will say that both of them they are synonymous to each other. But however, there is a thin line of demarcation between the word morale and motivation. Now, what we say is that morale is basically used in the case of the teams or in the case of group, and motivation is generally energizing one's inner self for better performances. So, whether it is morale or motivation, they are both for the organizational benefit only and for better performance only. So, let's have a look at the morale. Now, basically when we talk about morale, it says that morale is crucial component in overall the success of any organization. And basically when we have this morale is basically nothing but is just the kind of attitude that we have in an organization towards the work environment. So, when the work environment is void of a motivation, the employees have no energy. So, more or less morale is also related with the energy that one exerts, and it's more of energizing oneself. So, when the individual is energizing, that becomes motivation, and when it is talked in terms of group or in terms of team, it becomes the morale. So, basically morale is an indicator of the attitude of employees towards their jobs or superiors and their organizational environment. So, it is a kind of a collection of the employee attitude, feelings and sentiments. Then it says that the skills and experience to change the attitude of an employee by adding excitement and anticipation. So, these are the ways by which we can actually increase it. So, employee morale is important because it is linked with the engagement, EE. Look at this, EE, employee engagement. So, when the employee is engaged, the person will be focused, loyal, committed, and of course, you remember TRS also, trust, respect and support will also fall in place. And then the satisfaction level will be high, then the performance and the profitability, definitely everything will go up. So, with good morale, employers are more likely to be engaged, to be more productive and have a better quality of life. And people where we experience low employee morale, it will definitely limit the productivity because the performance will not be such as we actually anticipate. So, what we can say is, like for example, Davis has also defined morale as a mental condition of groups and individuals which determines their attitude. As I told you in the first line also, that morale is all related with the attitude that one has towards the kind of work performances. So, more or less, morale is a mental condition the mental condition or the attitude that actually determines the willingness to cooperate, and good morale is evidenced by employee enthusiasm, voluntary conformation with regulation, orders, willing to work in extra hours, accomplishment, so on and so forth. So, naturally, in a nutshell, what we can say that morale is nothing but is just a kind of a feeling which one experiences in terms of the job, or what we can say is that morale is a feeling somewhat related to the unity, enthusiasm or zeal. And basically when we talk about morale, it is basically for a group of workers that we are talking. For example, my dear friends, in the case of morale, it can be the team, it can be a cricket team, it can be a football team, or we can say that okay, the fans, for example, if there is a Bollywood star and the person feels very down or demotivated, then what we can say is that the team or the fans actually increase the morale of the entire Hollywood or maybe Bollywood team. So it's like when we have morale, it is more or less related with one particular team or a group or maybe the organization. So again, the chart that you see is here again from my book HRM by Dr. Rakhi. So these are basically the good, these are the exhibitions of good morale and poor morale. So we have that good morale. How do we know that my team is very happy and satisfied, or the cooperation level is very high and the productivity is very, very high? Because at times we can also say that morale is the capacity of a group of people to put or to pull together the common purpose, when the common purpose is to attainment of the goal. So here everyone comes together. It is only possible when there is a good morale or high morale. So here exhibited by employee enthusiasm. So people are quite enthusiastic to take up new tasks. They are bubbling with joy, they are bubbling with zeal, and they are ready to accept the changes, they are ready to conform to the rules and regulation and orders, and they are always willing to cooperate with others. So if the organization sees all these things, that means the employee enthusiasm is very high. There is a high level of team building. That means there is a high level of team spirit. People are spirited and they are all ready to give their cooperation and coordination towards the success of the goal. Then increase in discipline. If people are if there is people who are very, very disciplined, they are not involved in any kind of misconduct activities. That means there is an adherence to the rules and regulation, and when there is an adherence to the rules and regulation, I told you that it is an example of good morale. If there are fewer accidents, voluntary confirmation with company's orders. So if people are performing well, if there is less need of supervision, the accident rates are less, people are attentive, people are coming regularly, the rate of turnover is less, the profitability and the performance and the productivity of the company is going up. These are all the signals that my people are very happy and satisfied. And when people are happy and satisfied, they are focused, they are loyal, they are committed, they are quite enthusiastic, so on and so forth. So in the case of morale also, there is a word which we actually call it. You can see it on the screen. I am writing it. When there is a morale, how you can remember you can remember it with the word ESL. So E is basically the enthusiasm level. So if the people are very, very enthusiastic, there are lesser accidents, team building is very high, people are ready to follow the rules and regulation orders, and compliances are there. So that means it's very, very good. S is for spirit. They are highly spirited. They are ready to cooperate, they are ready to share, ready to overcome any problem, they are ready to overcome any kind of difficulty, they are ready to support, they are ready to give all kind of help, so on and so forth. And L is loyalty. So if the organization can feel all these three words, ESL, enthusiasm, spirits and loyalty, that means the company is doing well and there is high level of good morale. Then how do we identify that there is poor morale? That is insubordination. Insubordination, what is the meaning of insubordination? Where basically when a person fails to obey to the orders of their superior. So if people are doing such an activity, that means there is something somewhere going wrong and people need to identify and nip it in the bud only. Then feeling of discouragement, more absenteeism, turnover, more errors, fatigue and monotony. So here we can see that people are not happy and satisfied. So there are higher level of stresses, and people are not able to burn out their stress, or maybe their problems are not sorted out, or maybe the work environment is not good, or maybe the terms of employment, they are not feasible enough for the people to make it a conducive one. Then as a result of that, there will be more conflict, more grievances, more accident, and people will not like to come to the job. So the rate of absenteeism is very high, the turnover rate would definitely go up, and definitely it would have a serious impact on the productivity, performance and the productivity of the company. So these are the things which actually exhibit that the company is experiencing some kind of problem which needs to be diagnosed at the earliest, and the moment it is being diagnosed, only then the action can be taken and then things can be rectified. So we know that basically morale is a more of a psychological concept which is intangible, and it is actually, to be very honest, it is very contagious in the sense that people learn from each other. So if people feel that okay, my group people are happy, so even I am happy. If my people are dissatisfied, I am also dissatisfied. So morale is more or less contagious effect. It has a contagious impact which is quite dynamic, and is like more of a group phenomenon, as I told you all. So these are the things which actually tell us about the things of whether the company is having good morale or bad morale. So what is the importance of the good morale is like higher performances, it can be reflected in the growth figures, the growth chart, and these growth chart can be reflected in the profitability of the company, or it can be shown in the wealth maximization. So these two things, they are the main objective of any organization, that is the increase the profits, or to maximize the wealth, or wealth maximization is another objective of the company. Then there can be, why do we need employee morale? Because we need people to be happy and satisfied, to maintain that kind of decent standard of living, so they are happy, and when they are happy, so they will perform better. It would get reflected in their performance. Then low absenteeism, as I told you, people will be happy to come and join the work and take up the new responsibilities, or do work with greater enthusiasm. So, but if it is on the other hand side, people will be reluctant to come to their workplaces, and they would not like to take up any additional responsibilities which are being given by the management or their superiors. Then why it is important? Because we have to maintain that good discipline in the company. So discipline is like eventually it will get reflected in the productivity, in the performance, and the profitability. Then there would be fewer accidents. We want people to be happy and satisfied. They want that people there should be ESL. If you remember ESL, that means there should be a high level of enthusiasm. They should be spirited, and there should be some kind of loyalty coming from the employees. So all these things are there, so definitely people will be very, very focused, and there would be less rate of accidents. So then because of that, there would be more stability, the goodwill of the company will definitely go up, and there will be smiling faces all around. People will be very, very happy because the work culture, the environment, the people, the support from the management, everything is on a upbeat. So there is a high level of job management also. Then there can be different kind of factors that can affect the morale. Again, this is from my book HRM by Dr. Rakhi, by RG. So here there can be some kind of organizational factors and personal factors. For example, the organization itself can provide the facilities for people to be happy and satisfied. And we know that at any point of time, low morale will definitely indicate the presence of mental unrest, which we do not want. So any kind of mental tension or unrest from the point of the company or the organization is not at all desirable. Then the objectives, they should be very clear in the minds of the people. How are the people? How are your colleagues? If the colleagues are very supportive, they are loyal, they are committed, they are honest, so definitely you would like to work. So work environment, this can be actually the physical environment that we can have. For example, anything which is related with your sitting arrangement, eating arrangement, maybe the facilities, health, safety, welfare provisions basically. So these health, safety, welfare provisions, they make up the work environment. The working condition, how the working condition, what are the working hours, what are the kind of facilities that are being provided. So all those things, they will have an impact on the morale of the people. If the working condition is good, the facilities maybe in terms of incentives, bonus, grant, creche facility, drinking water, washing clothes, transportation, if all those things are being provided, people are very happy. Then we already know things related with rewards and recognition. Even if you make a slightest effort and those efforts are actually recognized by the company, so definitely it will boost the morale of the entire team. So on the other hand side, if people are performing well and there is no one who is recognizing their smallest effort or contribution that is being made towards the attainment of the common objectives of the company, then definitely it is going to be very, very detrimental, and people will be stressed out. And the moment, my dear friends, the people are stressed out, they would not like to work, and the stress will eventually be reflected in their productivity, performance, and the profitability of the company. Then the kind of supervision which is being given, the kind of leadership. Now in the case of leadership, for example, if there is too much of autocratic kind of leadership. So naturally people will be very dissatisfied. But for example, if there is a kind of a democratic kind of leadership, then definitely people will be very, very happy. Then the personal factors, it's all the employee age that determines the morale factor, the occupation, the kind of occupation, if the right person is there at the right pace. So naturally people will enjoy doing their task, and on the other hand side, if the right person is not there at the right pace, so naturally the people or maybe the team or the group will be demoralized. Then the marital status, again this marital status, it could be happily married or maybe divorced or maybe widowed, whatever it is. So that can also have an impact on the morale of the entire team, or as individually it can affect the motivation level. The education level, the more you are educated, the more you are motivated, because you know that you will be able to give in the best to the organization and you are the right choice for the company. And the kind of experience that people come with, the vast experience that people come with, that will also have an impact on the morale level of the people. So we know that what we can say is like these are the factors that have an impact on the morale, and we say that every manager should attempt to build high morale of his subordinates. So because every work is done with the collective efforts, and these collective efforts are required to develop and maintain the high morale. So we know that maybe how we can increase the morale level of the people, maybe the company, as we are talking about in terms of organization. So the organization can have a very fair system of wage and salary payments, and the promotion policy is very good, and people are good, people are supportive, there is proper communication which is being made, the people's efforts, they are being recognized, and the employees are made to feel proud of being employed on that particular organization. Maybe the employee welfare schemes related with medical or maybe housing or maybe children, canteen, credit facilities, safety measures, all those things they are being provided by the company. And also the workers, they should be given proper training so that they are able to perform their task, and there are lesser accident, lesser supervision is needed, and definitely people are less frustrated and they are more satisfied. So all these factors, they play a very, very crucial role in determining the morale level of the people. So it says that definitely a major role is being played by the organization, because the sound and effective organization, there are factors on behalf of that affect the morale level of the people. So these were the factors affecting morale. Then there can be 4 simple tips to boost the employee morale. For example, streamlined work based on skill. So that is the right person at the right time for the right kind of job. So if the person, if the people, they are given the task as per their will, as per their needs, their requirement and their taste and preferences. So naturally the people will be putting in their best foot forward, and the moment they put their best foot forward, so naturally the results are going to be very, very astonishing, rather we can say it like that. Then second is train them well for professional development. My dear friends, we already had a session on training. Rather, I have almost devoted a week's time on giving you the deepest point related with training. So training is like filling up of the skill gap, or maybe brushing up of the skills of the people. So here what we can say is how we can actually maintain the morale of the people is like giving them training, because by the moment we provide them with the training, it actually, there is a kind of a career progression, and people they get a feel that okay, this company is thinking for me, and there are more growth and development opportunities. So the moment you are being trained, you are getting better and better every now and then. So by providing them with the trainings, we can always boost up the morale level. And one of the biggest advantages that we have of the training is that there would be fewer accidents, and lesser supervision is needed. So once we have got fewer accident and less supervision is needed, So naturally people will be very, very happy and satisfied, and their attitude towards will definitely change. So there will be better cohesiveness, there will be better group cohesiveness, better communication, better decision making, and of course all these things, they would get reflected again in all these 3 P's that I have been talking about, that is the performance, productivity and the profitability of the company. Then recognize and rewards the employees to boost the employee. This is very, very essential. As I told you that we have already done a chapter on incentives and rewards. So we know that there can be different kind of rewards that can boost up the level of the people. For example, a little pat on the person can also boost up the morale of an individual or of the entire team. Appreciation in front of a large audience, so that can boost up the morale of the people. But sometimes there can be different ways by which we can boost up the morale level. Maybe having a picture of the employee, or employee of the week, employee of the month, and then his or her picture is pasted on the bulletin board or something like that, or maybe the newsletters, they are taken out by the company, giving them a better idea. I will just share a very personal experience with you. Long back I went to get my car serviced at one of the Hyundai service station. So it was just in half an hour time that I was supposed to spend to get my car back after getting it serviced. So to my surprise, I was just sitting in the waiting area, and in that waiting area there was a big white board, and there they were the pictures of the employees, maybe the employee of the week, employee of the month, and then maybe 2 stars and 3 stars are given to people. So though it is just the picture on the board, but I am sure the person whose picture is on the board, the person must be feeling very elated and satisfied, because there are so many people from outside who are coming into the company and having a look at that bulletin board. So the small efforts which are being taken by the company or the HR department to reward the people or to recognize their contribution in any way, maybe having a picture on the board, or maybe in the newsletter, or maybe giving a small citation, trophy, certificates, whatever, that definitely boost up the motivation level of the people on the individual front, and in a group level it definitely gives a big boost to the morale. So a reward system is a big way of doing that. And then open to feedback. This is very essential. That as I told you, that feedback is also very essential, because feedback helps us to identify the gray areas or the weaknesses. And when people are open to the constructive feedback, there is an improvement. And the moment you improve, you become better. My dear friends, morale, we have discussed a lot of things related with morale. Why have I put this slide here? Because I want to give you the gist that there is a role play of morale and productivity. Morale and productivity, they are very, very closely related terms, because we know that high morale can lead to increased productivity. Now, if you read my book again, HRM by Rakhi, like if I ask you what is the meaning of productivity, people will come out with different definitions. But in case if you ask me what is the meaning of productivity, it is basically nothing but just the combination of E and E. That is, it is like efficiency into effectiveness. Efficiency is like less loss, no damage. And when we have effectiveness, it is all related with the utilization of the resources. So, in an organization, if people are able to maintain the efficiency and effectiveness, naturally their productivity goes up. That means you are not involved in any kind of wastage, you are not involved in any kind of damage or damage of anything. It can be material, talent, anything. And effectiveness is basically the maximum utilization of the resources. So the resources that are available to you, maybe in terms of manpower, machinery, methods, market, money. So all these things, if you are able to utilize it well, so naturally you have made the best use of them. So it's a combination of efficiency and effectiveness is known as productivity, and this productivity is actually related with the morale concept. So there are several ways in that morale can impact the productivity. Firstly, it's like engagement. So when people are engaged, if you remember EE, employee engagement, how people are made to be a part of the organization, how they are made feel happy and important. Naturally that will have an impact on the morale and productivity. Second is the motivation level. The motivation level is again the key driver of productivity at the individual level. The collaborations is all about the teamwork, how people they work together, how they behave, how they communicate, how they the group cohesiveness, the group discussions, the group communication is very, very essential for productivity. Then creativity. High morale can lead people to be more creative, and that creativity will definitely bring a big smile to the management. Then absenteeism rate will be less because people are willing to come to the work, they are not absent, they are not making excuses, but they are rather willing to make it to the workplace. And of course, there is customer satisfaction. My people with whom we are working with, they are happy, they are giving a positive feedback. So that means there is all kind of positivity involved in the organization. So this is a chart from my book again, HRM by Rakhi. As I told you that productivity is nothing but the combination of efficiency and effectiveness. Then again, this is from my book only, my dear friends, HRM by Rakhi. So we know that high morale will lead to high productivity, and this is a kind of a chart which shows that low and high morale, so how it is going to get affected. So if the component of morale is high, then it will eventually result in high productivity and the vice versa. Now, my dear friends, this is a very, very famous matrix of morale and productivity, which is actually, which you can actually see in most of the HR books or maybe in OB books. It's a 2x2 matrix that talks about the high morale and high productivity, low morale and high productivity, low morale and low productivity, and high morale and low productivity. So that's a combination that we talk about, that high morale and high productivity, that when we let's take all these four quadrants differently to give you a better idea about this combination of morale and productivity. So my dear friends, if there is high morale and high productivity, so that means this is the ideal situation. This is the best way, because that's what the company wants. Company wants that the company's mission, vision, they are all achieved and the targets are achieved. My people are happy. There is diversification, growth opportunities, everything is very, very high. And then organization should always try to maintain the quadrant by continuing invest in the employee engagement and motivation. Now we know that there are different ways by which the people can be made happy and satisfied. So these happy and satisfaction level is of paramount importance. So there are different ways that by which people they can be motivated. The second quadrant is high morale and low productivity. Now this quadrant represents a situation where employees have high morale but low productivity level. Why it is so? It can be because the resources are very scarce, or the people are not sure what is expected out of them. They are bubbling with joy, they are bubbling with enthusiasm, they are bubbling with zeal. They are ready to exert their level, but maybe there is less clarity on the part of the job, or there may be some barriers that may be preventing people from being productive. So ideally, organization should make an effort to identify the reason as to why this is happening, and the corrective action should be taken at the earliest. Then we have got something low morale and high productivity. This may represent a situation where employees have got low morale but high productivity. This could indicate that the employees are overworked, they are underappreciated or lacking in opportunities. That means people are working, they are giving results, but from within they are not happy and satisfied. So now we have to understand that okay, people are working, they are giving their efforts, but maybe the rewards and recognitions are not being done by the company. Then effort should be taken that the rewards should be given to people. Slightest contribution which is being made by the employer or the worker, it is appreciated, and people are feel engaged, people are feel important. They have to be realized that okay, the company is going just because of those people. But again, in inverted commas, it is for productive and efficient people only. So these issues they have to be addressed. And the last quadrant, low morale and low productivity, this is the least desirable situation that a company wants. And here people are not, neither the people are motivated or the morale of the group is high, and eventually that gets reflected in the productivity level. And this is a very, very serious issue that the company has to take into cognizance. And it says like the people are not happy, the organization is not doing their part, there is poor leadership, lack of resources, the working environment is not good, health, safety, welfare provisions are not being provided, and the benefits are not being given, the fringe benefits are not being given, people are not supportive, and there's high level of absenteeism, or maybe the rate of turnover is very high, everything is on a downfall. So this is a very toxic work environment or the least desirable situation where the company should actually take into consideration very, very seriously and address these issues. Because if these issues they are not taken into cognizance, my dear friends, then eventually it can result in the shutdown of the company. And when there is a shutdown of the company, it is not at all a good sign for the company, neither for the company nor the people who are working in it. So one has to be very careful. So probably I'm heading towards the end of this presentation, and here it says that why are we talking about the high productivity? Because productivity is actually the resultant that we are getting because of the morale and the kind of capital that we are investing, the depth of competition. My people are happy with the company's current profile, or maybe the style of working, work culture, working environment, or maybe the very fair pay structure, everything. And definitely the strength of the market demand is also dependent upon the kind of people that we have. And then we have to bear in mind that the people of the company, they are actually the big advertisers themselves. So they actually publicize the company. So if people are happy and satisfied, that means somewhere or the other the goodwill of the company is also going up, and there is a lot of stability and the growth figures for the company. So the advantages of high productivity is that the quality of investment is high, we have got skilled force. So when we have got skillful people, so naturally it is a positive condition, and then people would like to exert better effort. They are ready to take up the changes, they are ready to abreast themselves with the latest technology, they are ready to take up new assignments, challenging assignments. So everything is on a positive front. And then quality of management, like there is like incentive for workers. So if there is productivity, that means the company is encouraging, is having profitable figures are being reflected in the company's balance sheet. So if the profitable figures are being reflected, so naturally the part of the share is also in the form of sharing with the company or with the workers. It can be in the form of incentive, bonus, or in time maybe in the form of shares also at times. And then definitely the kind of labor that we have, it's it's very, very encouraging, and people are ready to work the way the management wants them. So in other words, what we can say is that with the high productivity level, there is a kind of stimulation of the feeling of togetherness that can be experienced, and the entire group interest is kept in consideration by the enterprises. The people are happy and satisfied, and there is a kind of an creation of an environment or the atmosphere in a organization which is very, very conducive to the achievement of the goals of the company. And that is what actually the people of the company, they want. So that's all I have got for you in this specific topic of morale. So I'm sure you're well equipped with the concept of morale, and at any point of time if people ask you what is the meaning of morale or what is the difference between morale and motivation, you are able to identify them. And above all, the most important part is the combination that we have, or the relationship that exists between the morale and productivity. So I'm sure you have gained something out of this lecture of mine today. So thank you so much for staying tuned in with me. Stay tuned in for another important topic on HR in my next video. Thank you so much.